Hey up everybody, welcome back to the Yorkshire Fitness Podcast. I'm Gray, Matt and Mark are both joining me again. This is episode 2. I hope the few of you that listened to the episode 1, I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to just continue a little bit of that chat initially, just to go a little bit further into it. Sorry if we're just giggling a little bit, something just funny happened. I can't stop smiling either. So we'll fire straight back in because we had to end the call quite quick last week just before, and we were kind of just on a bit of a roll discussing certain things about the IVERSEN paper 2021, and it's called No Time to Train. So it was just to really continue that a little bit. So we got some bits in there, didn't we, boys, about, you know, like kind of the big lifts, how to get the most out of your training if you're really limited for time. Basically, that was, in a nutshell, it was how do you get the most out of your exercise? How do you get results when you're really struggling for time? 20, 30 minutes in the gym, what programs work best, what exercises. So we just need to go a bit further into that, don't we, today?
Yeah, I think that the important thing to remember when we talk about that particular paper, it's not a paper for absolutely every training goal and every outcome. It was very specifically about getting strength and increasing muscle mass. So if they're the two things that you were trying to go for, then what we're going to talk about today were really helpful. But it isn't necessarily for improving aerobic endurance or body composition. So what we're going to talk about a little bit later is, yes, how to get some training out of that. But if you are interested in getting stronger and affecting your body composition, what's the diet implications of trying to train with the 20 to 30 minute limited time span? So yeah, we're going to look at today specifically trying to create a strength training program or a muscle building program with 20 to 30 minutes to play with per day. And then we'll talk a little bit about how we can manipulate diet and nutrition around that, so you can get your body composition goals as well, because that's something that we spoke about last week.
Yeah, I think that'll be great. If we can cover that type of thing, like we had a few questions, you know, like a few people have mentioned last week's episode who've been coming to the gym, just kind of asking questions about it. Just kind of, I suppose it's just to personalise it a little bit, really. And you've just got to let everybody know that, yes, everybody is different. So people need different training. Everybody's, like we've just been talking before, and don't we, a little bit about kind of training age, how much experience they've had in the gym. If they're a bit more of a newcomer to it, they're not going to be able to utilise certain exercises like your deadlifts and your squats if they're going in on their own. You're not going to be doing a back squat. They probably need to start a bit more basic and generally build up. So we've had quite a few questions, which has been good though. And they've been chatting about nutrition a little bit and stuff, haven't they, Mark? So we've got a few things we can talk about today.
Good thing is it were good feedback, though.
Yeah, well, yeah.
We didn't get no bad stuff. I mean, bad stuff can be good, but yeah, they were all right.
Yeah, and we told everybody to be very honest.
Yeah.
So in terms of what we talked about last week, it's worth kind of recapping a few of those basic things that we spoke about. So in terms of increasing strength and muscle size, it was roughly 4 sets per muscle group per week. So it isn't 4 sets at all in completeness. So it wasn't just that you do 4 sets and off you go, you've done your week's worth of training. So 4 sets for glute, for chest, for back, for shoulders, for quads, for hamstrings. So every major muscle group needed to have 4 sets per week to have the benefits. And that had to be a relatively high load for you. So that's not my load or Eddie Hall's load. It's whatever's relatively heavy for you. So it's around about the 8 to 12 repetition range, and around about 85% of the maximum for the 8 to 12 reps. If you did that 4 sets per week for every major muscle group that you had, then you would get some training benefit from that. Just had a visitor there, Matt.
Yeah, I know.
That's
know what I can do about it, mate. Is it?
He's a Matt's dog's come to pay. He's obviously heard what we're talking about. He's quite interested.
Well, he's interested in hypertrophy.
Okay, well, he needs to do 4 sets.
Yeah.
Then we spoke about with the way I do my conditioning, I think it's quite transferable to this. So it's basically looking at movements. So I kind of divide training into kind of core movements, which is to squat, to hinge, to push, to pull. So that's a vertical push and a vertical pull, and a horizontal push and a horizontal pull. So for me, a vertical push like a shoulder press, and a horizontal push would be like a bench press. You're pushing it 90 degrees to your own body. So if you did one of those major movements for 4 sets per week, you should get some positive adaptation should get an increase in strength and an increase in muscle mass, depending on diet and lifestyle that goes around with that as well.
I think from that, boys, I think what we can take away from that is if we train, obviously we do PT, don't we, and stuff like that, and we have clients who come in and they only train once a week, and we train. So our aim is to work in that pattern, you know, like in doing that. And we've had some people who have one PT session a week. That's the only strength session they do a week, and they get stronger. There's no two ways about it. Over a period of 6, 8, 12, however long, they continuously get stronger. I mean, a lot of them are starting from some of them nearly zero when it comes to strength training, but you know, so but they get stronger from one good body weight, one good full body session per week. And we've seen it, Gray, haven't we? A lot of them. I mean, the ones who train more, obviously, the benefits are better. You know, like they're getting more up to like 10 sets per week if they're doing it. But just by doing that, you push, pull, hinge, squat patterns, it works, doesn't it? You know, I think we have got.
Sorry, go on, Matt. You were still talking.
I think the really important point there is Matt, is if you're starting from a relatively inexperienced point, you're relatively weak or detrained, one session a week is enough. You don't have to commit to a great deal. If you did 4 sets of each exercise in one session and you did it as densely as you possibly could, you cram that into 30 minutes, you'll get better. That'll be a tough 30 minutes. But as you accrue training age and you get older, you've done more and more sets, and you've been doing that for maybe 3, 4, 5 months, or some people been training for years, you do need more. You don't necessarily need more time in the gym per workout. You'll need to accrue a lot more workouts.
Mark, when I was saying that, that's an hour session, but that's possibly equivalent to 3 20-minute sessions per week, isn't it, for some people? You know, if you think, well, I've only got half an hour slots here to go to gym. You know what I mean? But what I mean is if they come for an hour and they do a full body set, you know what I mean? So it's still a tough hour.
Yeah.
You know, but it's still a bit more. And we do condense, you know, we do it in supersets, upper body, lower body, push, pull type things. So, but it's definitely doable. And like you said, but we know ourselves, the longer you've been training, the harder it is to make improvements in it.
Yeah, definitely. So we talked about kind of those, the big movements. We did 4 sets. If you did 4 sets of each of those big movements across the training week, then you'll get some benefit. And then as you get stronger, you get more adapted to that. We need to look at changing exercises. That's your first port of call, and potentially looking at more sessions per week. But realistically, if you can keep changing those exercises, you can do 2 to 3 sessions per week, hit your 4 sets per muscle group, and you'll continue to get some adaptation. So we talked about those big rocks. You can multi-joint. So if you're time limited, spending time per joint, so like an arm exercise, a tricep kickback and a bicep curl, as appealing as it is to, generally speaking, adolescent males, I think some people grow out of that by the mid-20s, but not everybody. But if you're doing like a single joint, kind of single muscle group movement, you don't have time to get everything in. So you need to make sure you're using as many muscles as per exercise as you possibly can. But bear in mind that one muscle group will do the lion's share of the work. So if you're doing a squat, your quads and glutes are going to do most of the work, but you might be using every part of your body, but that's the exercise that you're choosing for those 2 muscle groups. You need to think about what am I going to use for hamstrings, what am I going to use for calves, what am I going to use for shoulders, and then be kind of planning across your week when you're going to hit each of those major muscle groups, but having a full body approach. So the couple of questions that we didn't quite get to last week were the idea of single leg or double leg training. So, and that counts for upper body as well. So single or double. So do I do one arm dumbbell press, or do I use the barbell? Do I use a split squat, a single leg split squat, or do I do a double leg back squat? So in terms of looking at no time restrictions whatsoever, both work differently, and both are effective. So if I was to do a single leg squat and a back squat, I could get stronger doing both, and I can get bigger doing both. The difference being, and this is where it's specific to time restricted training, I've only got 20, 30 minutes to get in. If I do single leg training, that's double the amount of time it takes me to do the back squat. So I've got 2 sets, 1 set per leg, as opposed to just 1 set for both legs. So if I was to do a really time-limited training session, I would do bilateral training. Not because I don't think single leg training is good or it's beneficial and lots of other positive things with it. It's just I know it takes me twice as long to get the same effect.
Yeah, of course it does.
Yeah.
So I think that's where I think sometimes we get carried away with the benefits of single leg and bilateral training, and for most people, the transfer of single leg training to what they need to do is effective, but it's not the most important thing they can think about. But if you've been doing bilateral training for such a long time and you're not seeing the change, not seeing the benefits of that, it is a really good option to put in there. But you have to bear in mind that it's going to have a knock-on effect on what you can do in that 30 minutes. Something else has to come out and go somewhere else, because you're going to have twice as much time on your leg exercise as you did on your when you're doing bilateral training.
So the bilateral, like I said, the squats versus the single leg squat is obviously much better if you are limited for time. If you want to get in the gym and get your workout done and away you go, your goblet squat or your back squat is the best option in it. Like you say, you can get 4 sets of that done in half the times you can do 4 sets of your lunge or your Bulgarian split squat, basically, can't you? It's half the time because you're doing half the reps. So that's a good point for people to remember if they are struggling for time. Stick to the big ones. So if you're doing a shoulder press, dump both dumbbells together, or a barbell shoulder press or a bench press. Don't start messing single arms. It's all double barbell or double arms.
Yeah, that's definitely
cool.
Go so great.
What about? Let's just look. Just moving on slightly there. Another thing that we can talk about a little bit there is the machine weights as well, innit? What, like, the benefit of machine weight compared to free weights on a time scale and isolating muscles as well. That's quite a big topic as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, we were talking. We've just been talking about that, and we were just saying, like, I think for most people, if you've got reasonable training experience or you're training with a partner, we all agree on free weights, don't we? I mean, our gym, we don't have machine weights, do we? So
there's cable close to machines as we've got out there.
Yeah, but you know, everybody who comes to us is being coached. But if you're pretty inexperienced or maybe even coming back from an injury or something like that, then the machine weights can be, that's all we're saying, they can be just as beneficial, can't they? Or they can have a benefit to people, you know, particularly when they're inexperienced at training, because they'll still get stronger from them, won't they? I think is what we're saying.
Yeah,
agreed.
From a purely scientific point of view, if you put something on a leg press and a back squat, and then measure them in the leg press, they'll both get stronger at the leg press, and they both see equal amounts of muscle mass change. The difference being, if you then measure them on a back squat, the back squat people would get better, whereas you see not as much improvement in the back squat. So in terms of general strength, both work equally well. In terms of task-specific strength, being better at doing a particular thing, then the back squat would be better. And the point I made to you guys just before we came on air was that if I went to the gym and had 30 minutes, I'm going to go straight into the squat rack because that's where I want to train. That's where I want to do my training. But if that's not free, in the commercial gym, it's like Monday tea time, every man and his dogs appear there, and they now put the bench press in the bicep in the squat rack because they don't really know what it's for. And I can't wait for them to finish, so I then need to go off and find the leg press. So I know that's going to have as good as the transfer in general strength and hypertrophy as the squats, but it's my next best alternative.
Yeah.
So it has a purpose. It fits in somewhere. And like I say,
not as functional, Mark.
Well, there's a recent paper come out, and I'm not sure.
Go on.
And is there such a thing as non-functional training?
No, maybe not.
It depends.
But you don't push many things with just your legs, do you? Well, maybe you do.
It's a bit. Hey, look,
it works. Hey, listen, if it works,
yeah, it's a bit of a buzzword, isn't it, everybody? I mean, if they're wanting to stand out from the crowd a little bit, they're throwing functional before the training program. They think, "Oh, that makes it sound good." People will jump. Oh, that's
what I meant. Yeah, but what I meant by functional is great. It's using more muscles in it. You know, like like it's active. Like we've said before, it's activating your core. It's, you know what I mean. There's a lot of there's a lot of muscles activated doing a back squat. You know what I mean? Whereas sat, you can really focus on just that pushing from your legs. So from a leg point of view,
the prowler, the pushing the prowler is a prime example of it, isn't it? I mean, that is like super functional, isn't it? When you think, a good heavy prowler push, you're not just strengthening your leg, you're not just working your legs there, you're working your core, you're working your shoulder stability. There's lots of different things coming into it, isn't there? So rather than doing a leg extension where you are just targeting your quads, basically. Yeah. So, but that's quite a good one. We'll have to have a read of that. And Elman will have to have a chat about that one. What's it called?
I can't remember the exact name of the title. I'll find it for you. There's no. Is there such a thing as non-functional training?
Not as non-functional.
Yeah.
You can kind of get that straight away, because you think, well, any type of training will help you progress physically, and you think, well, if it helps you function, I just think functioning is the basic movements of life, kind of, in it. And if you can function better, if you can walk better, and you've got better balance, you're functioning better. That's kind of how I look at things. And some exercises are better towards them for the balance and everything than others. So that's kind of what I use. Right, spot on. What else to go on then? Is that all we want to cover for the machine weights and stuff like that for people?
Yeah, I think only one other thing that I'd thought of that did mention in that was, when they were on about when you talking about running out of time, Mark, and then you have to start adapting and doing it. It would like saying using your drop sets and stuff to finish off, maybe which would add more volume to without necessarily a great deal more time.
There's lots of what classifies as more advanced forms of training. For example, what Mark's on there is drop setting. So you might load the bar with lots of small denominations. So you might put on, 10 5-kilo plates on a squat or a bench or something like that, and then just strip off a small amount of weight from each side, then do the next set, and strip it off, and then do the next set. And so you're just basically just kind of doing an absolute ton of volume in a really short space of time, and then just keep dropping down the weight every time you do that. So that's it is an advanced method, and it can be it's really tough first and foremost, especially if you're doing the bench press. I've never seen anybody do it on something other than the bench press. And you're kind of swimming in midair because you've got no weight on the bar.
Oh, you just go to jelly. You just go, don't you? You didn't see Eddie Hall's deadlift one, did you, last week?
No, I've not seen
Eddie Hall did a deadlift one where he did one rep. So he had his two coaches, his two guys either side, started off on, 60 kilo, whatever, just a lightweight. Every rep he did, they put an extra 20 kilo each side, so it was going up 40 kilo. I think he climbed up to about 440 kilo. And then when he got to that, they started taking a 20 off each side, and he went all the way back down. I think he ended up with about 18 or 20 reps or something silly.
So that is one method. Personally, I think for most people, I don't think that's needed.
No, I don't think personally, mate. I don't think I've got one person who I train who I would make do a drop. Not a brute, not like sex. If you do them proper, they're really they're not nice things to do, are they?
And one of the topics we haven't really dug into with this one is that the concept of training to failure, and do you need to train to failure? And generally speaking, you don't. You need to get relatively near failure, but not. There's no benefit from really digging to the last 10% of what you've got left. All you do is going to make yourself more tired, more sore, and less likely to come back the next day. Now, there's a bit of a sweet spot, because if you don't get close enough to failure, you're not going to get the same level of adaptation. You're not going to get the response from your training that you'd like to get. So you've done a lot of work, but not really got the adaptation you want to get from that. But if you then dig into the last 10%, that kind of close to failure, where the bar's on your chest and you can't move it again, there's no extra. You don't get any stronger for that. You don't get any more muscle for that, but you do get a lot more tired, a lot more sore from that. So that's one of the things.
And that's usually when your technique. That's when your technique's flawed as well, isn't it? And that, like I said, that is what can probably result in an injury. Bit of a rotator cuff strain, or if you're trying to overdo it on bench and you're trying to push them extra couple of reps out that you can't quite do. That's when you're more likely to have a bit of a twist or a wobble in it.
If I go somebody that wants to train 20 to 30 minutes per day, my most important thing I'm thinking about is, yes, make sure today is important, but they can come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because if they've only done 20 minutes in one day, like having 3 to 4 days off doesn't leave you a lot of training time per week.
No, it don't, does it?
Can they come back the next day and the next day and the next day? So it's like how you build the program and how you think about what exercise do we do tomorrow and what exercise can we do today if you want to come back tomorrow? That kind of thing is really, really important. So
hey,
we talked about.
I wasn't saying do every set, do it. We're just on about a way of shortening your time, and it were in the paper, mate. Do you know what I mean? That's all I was saying. I was just throwing it in there for you.
And it's just a good one. Yeah, and if somebody's really struggling for time, it's a brilliant way of adding that volume to that muscle group, innit? So yeah, no, we know that. Don't worry, don't get all defensive on us.
It just loves shooting people down, doesn't it? It just loves shooting people down. No,
give Stan a cuddle. Give Stan a cuddle. He'll make you feel better.
He's gone.
That's
why I got ratty.
I saw he's got his eyes rolled. He said drop sitting, his eyes rolled, and he walked off.
No, his eyes rolled when you started talking. I think you thought you were going to say you're called.
I'm not doing them again. I've done drop tennis once. I'm not doing them again.
Yeah, maybe.
Awesome. Right, sound.
So we said we try and kind of describe what one of those sessions might look like, didn't we? So like, if we've talked about kind of the theory and the science behind it and the outlines, but what would if you were a St. John's client came into you and said, I've got 20 to 30 minutes to lift 2 to 3 times a week, what are you going to put in their program? What does that look like for you guys?
Well, I'll use Kate as an example who I trained yesterday morning. Kate came in. I'm going to say she was late for this podcast's purposes. She came in, had a coffee. By the time she was warmed up, so let's.
You just ruined it there. She's late and then had a coffee.
I know, yeah. So she's no, she wasn't late. I'm kidding. She got there early, but she had a coffee. But she wasted a lot of time warming up, which like to have. We knew she was squatting, she was deadlifting. So she had a real good thorough warm up to make sure we did a bit of what we spoke about last week. She did a general warm up. She did some bird dogs, she did rotations. A few lunges, just generally got warmed up, and then we did a little bit of lifting. So she started with a goblet squat and built up. So by end of a warm up, and then by the time she had to be away no later than 8 o'clock, we had time. So we did 4 sets of goblet squats, we did 4 sets of an RDL on the trap bar. So we hinged, so we goblet squatted, we hinged, we benched, we chest pressed, and we horizontal rowed. So we did the horizontal push, horizontal pull, 4 sets of goblet squat, deadlift, push and pull, and then we did some. She had a spare 5 minutes. We did some core work at end, and that worked really. The actual workout probably took about 30 minutes. I would say the actual core. Then 4 sets of 4 of them exercises, all quite max lifts. She was goblet squatting like 30 kilo, so she did real good weight. She shifted some decent weight as well. They were pretty maximum lifts what she did, and she felt like she had a real good workout. I kind of used it as an example. I talked to her about the podcast and the time saving thing.
So you said that you did a general warm up. Sorry, Mark, go on.
No, sorry. I was just going to say because with Mark at minute he's doing 30 minutes weights, but then he's just wanting to do a little bit more cardio as well within his session, and it's like you say, it's a similar thing. He did 4 sets of he did a double kettlebell squat, press ups, deadlift on the trap bar, and inverted row. Same, do you know what I mean? So that same thing. But then today's second session, he did vertical push and pull. So he did assisted pull-ups and he did a shoulder press. And we varied up. We went a bit unilateral today, though, Mark. I'll be honest. We went walking lunges and a single leg RDL, but we still managed to fit that in 30 minutes to do that for his weights.
Still allowed. No, he's banned them. They're okay.
No, I know that. So it would, but yeah, just to work it a different way for him. But that's just in 2 sessions. He's covered pretty much all his bases, and in his basic session. So big shout out to Mark. It was a good review last week,
Yeah, cheers, Mark. Yeah, let's have another one of them, mate.
So we've got 10 minutes left. So we said that we've now got a bit of an idea about what that looks like for you and your clients. But we said what we're going to do about nutrition-wise. So a lot of people have body composition goals, body weight goals, body mass goals that don't necessarily get achieved by just training 20, 30 minutes a day. So they're going to get stronger and hopefully get a bit more muscle mass. But that very rarely, for you guys particularly, is what people come to achieve, is it really? They don't come say, I like to get stronger. Very rarely do they get stronger. I want to get bigger.
Yeah.
Most clients have got a lose weight, and we translate that to lose body fat, and get leaner and look more toned. That they're kind of what do I look like in the mirror type of training program. So how do we provide some advice and guidance to say, well, this is how you're going to do that. We're not going to do it in the gym, but this is where we're going to achieve that?
We use it. We try to get people to buy into the app that we use as much as possible, and I think it's just kind of one. I'm going to give you a scenario here, mate. What's happened this week? So the last who's been training us with for 4 years now, Matt, Sal. If you're listening, Sal, big shout out. So Sal has been struggling to lose weight for a long time. It's been, like she's tried everything. She's tried different diets. We've helped. She's just really struggled with certain things. She's been on and off like the stretchy work. She's busy, fitting, exercising. Pretty much exactly like kind of what we're talking about here. Everything, it all builds up to the picture. So because she's struggling to get her exercise in, then she's struggling to plan her meals because of work and all commitments that you have. Anyway, one little key what she's bought into really recently within the last 2 weeks, Mark, she's just signed up. She's joined up to one of those 8-week inch loss programs. So that is just a bit of they are 8 week, but they're continuous. But we drip feed lots more information down to the 8 weekers. So we try to get them to buy into this. So we try and get them to log the food because it's for a short term. We know to log your food every day of your life it's not a great thought, is it? Like going on MyFitnessPal, as in MyFitnessPal, it's its own app. Anyway, long story short, Sal's really bought into it this time. So we spoke about protein. We really had to talk about protein, everything to her on the rest days and how she's going. She's hit a protein intake now. She's got to 100%. We're at 30. She's on 30%, Mark, isn't she, Sal? We really need it. We need to.
What, 25 or 35%? It could have been as high as 35%. I can't remember what we put her on.
Just to kind of really give her a good kickstart into this program, and she's lost weight straight away. Within a week, she's lost some weight. And she's going, that's the most I've lost for ages. But she says that app, using the app and scanning my food, as she goes, I've scanned some things ready to eat it, and I've scanned it, and it's brought the calories and the macros up, and she's gone, I'm not eating it, and she's pushed it to one side. So that is super. That's a win for her, isn't it? The app.
So you're saying just creating awareness of what they're eating. So.
Yes.
We talk about it quite a lot. So what we're saying there really is actually protein is the key.
Yeah.
If you want to have body composition goals and are time limited for training, then having a protein goal is the most valuable thing. So you talk about percentages. Is that percentage of total calories?
Yes.
Yeah. See, personally, I go for, and this is me because I'm a scientist and strength focused, is grams per kilo. So I try and hit a threshold. I try to hit a threshold of 2 grams for every kilo that I weigh. So
I do. That's that's what I try and do.
Mark, that's how we do it. But the app, because of how it does it, it gives you your little circles for reaching your goal. So if you do it on a percentage based, if she, like for example, at about 35%, she's not far off hitting them sort of targets anyhow. Do you know? So that's where we've gone.
It's a bit like the Apple, like the Apple thing. You get to close to close your exercise rings, or on the Apple thing. So it's just a really simple way. If you can see it there, look. Yeah. So when they've hit the protein, it just kind of fills the circle, and they get 100% in there. So
for those people listening on the podcast, Gray showed me an image that you won't be able to see.
Sorry. I'm thinking everybody's watching us on YouTube. That's because you said before, more people are watching on YouTube.
It's like for those people listening on radio, the blue's next to the pink.
Yeah, and it's a little circle. If you've got an Apple Watch, you'll know what it looks like.
See, one of the concerns I've always had about the percentage system, again, you guys, is like if somebody eats too many calories and therefore their percentage of protein goes down, they go, I need to eat more protein, and actually that drives up more calories because they've eaten 20% of 3,000 calories.
Mark, there is a circle for your calories as well, mate.
Yeah.
So if you're eating,
this app's got it all covered.
If you're eating 150% of your calories, but it's I've hit my protein goals, then you're still out, mate. But if you're hitting your calorie goals and your protein goals, then that's where it works.
Yeah.
Listen, we all need something like that, don't we? Just to, until you get it into your head, until it's fixed into your head, thinking breakfast, I need to be eating this, and you know where it is looking.
So for the time limited person, they're going to come in 3 times a week, or 2 to 3 times a week. They're going to do 30 minutes. What is it about protein that we're telling people that's like, this is why you need to look at this the most? Why aren't they just cutting calories?
Because
what are we telling people to help them?
because this is all about muscle building, strength building, isn't it? This program, what they're trying to do, they haven't got enough time. Like I say, it's not aerobic, it's not endurance training, so they don't need to replace the carbs because they're not going out running marathons. They're not, you know what I mean? It's not a time, an endurance thing, so they're needing the carb intake to be good. It's the protein, it's the recovery. You hit nail on the head earlier, didn't you? It's getting that recovery in between each session. If they're not getting to train for long, they need to make sure that each one of them sessions they are fresh, ready to go. And the best way is recovery is high protein, isn't it?
But there's a number of there's a lot of reasons why, isn't there? It helps us keep us muscle, doesn't it? You know, like it does. So when we're doing as resistance training, it keeps us muscle. Keeps us fuller for longer.
Recover, and it makes you feel fuller.
Keeps us fuller for longer. It's harder to convert into fat anyhow if you have a lot of it. So there's just loads of benefits from that with protein.
If you have a lot of fat or a lot of protein.
A lot of protein, Grace. Sorry. So if you eat a lot of protein, and it's like we said it earlier. If you sit down and eat 2 chicken breasts, there's not much chance you're going to be thinking, oh, what else can I have next? You're going to be pretty full from eating 2 chicken breasts, are you?
Yeah.
If you put it into that, so that's where your protein works, doesn't it?
There's another couple of things that I think a lot of people really kind of attach to. One is the thermic effect of protein. So we actually burn calories digesting protein, not the same amount of calories you're taking in, but you burn more calories digesting protein than you would do carbohydrates. So actually you burn some calories while digesting that.
Yeah.
I think the other thing as well is if you can increase your lean mass, your amount of muscle you've got in your body, and we're not talking about like bodybuilder type, we're just talking about adding maybe 1 or 2 extra kilos of muscle on your body. So you're not having a huge transformation, just a bit more. That's going to increase how many calories you're burning just walking around living.
Yeah.
If you stay the same amount of calories every day, you don't have to calorie cut, and you just kind of change the proportion to protein and then strength train, you're going to gain muscle mass. And that muscle mass is going to be burning that fat while you're not training. So it doesn't mean that you have to try and go run for 5, 10, 15K every day to try and get the fat, because your body's going to do that for you.
Well, muscle needs fuel, Mark, doesn't it? But fat doesn't, does it?
No. Although it convinces my brain I need ice cream, I think.
So in a nutshell, that's why the high protein works really well.
Yeah. So I think we've got about a minute left of the recording. So what we're kind of saying there is, if you have 20 to 30 minutes per day or a couple of times a week to train, you don't have to warm up, just warm up per exercise. Do at least 4 sets per muscle group. Do your big movements, ideally free weights, but it can be machines if that's what you've got, or if that's what's available on that particular day. Be smart, don't kill yourself per every session. You do 20 to 30 minutes every day, but the ability to come back is most important. Stick to a calorie goal and try to get as many calories as you can in that calorie goal through protein. If you did those things, you're going to get stronger, you're going to get lean, you're going to look better. Is that where we are?
That's a great
bang on.
It's a great start. That's a great start for anybody in it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think. Yeah, spot on. Good ending. Is that it then?
That's it. Well, that's episode 2 in the
good.
Right, spot on. Episode 2 done. Cool, mate. If you've been listening to that, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've taken something out, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Please like and subscribe.
All right. Nice one, boys. Nice.
See ya.
See you later.